Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Stylish Hidden Treasures. My name is Mary and I'm a full-time reseller on both eBay and Poshmark. Today I'm bringing you another What Sold video. This is for all the sales from March 7th through March 20th. This particular video is going to be for all my eBay sales. Sometimes I'll go ahead and combine the two of eBay and Poshmark into one. However, this video has 87 items that sold. Therefore, I don't want a super long video, and so because of that reason, I'm going to divide the two videos up of what sold. And if you're a Poshmark and eBay seller, definitely check out both videos because that way you can kind of see what sold on both platforms. So I want to start off by saying I have not done anything different at all in the last few weeks. Consistently, what I do is I list anything from 12 to 16 items a day, 6 days a week. I send out offers pretty much hourly at an additional 14% off, and then I run consistent sales. I am noticing, obviously, I'm selling things for a lot less than I used to, but as a result, I'm getting a higher volume, I guess you want to say, in sales. Some days are like crickets. I'm not even gonna lie. Some days I get worried, and then other days I have a few sales that'll clearly make up the difference. If you want to know a little bit of the background as far as my numbers, I am top rated. I have been on eBay for about 11 years now. Been on eBay full-time for the last 4 years, and then prior to that I was in nursing for 27 years. So I come from a nursing background, then I decided to do this full-time because this is what I love. So yes, sales are slow. They are nowhere near what they used to be, and most of us can agree to that. However, some of us are just simply changing our business model to a higher volume-based selling, and which seems to be helping sometimes, at least for me. So my average sale price of all the things I'm going to mention is $33.31, and 83 people were the customers of what I have as far as sales. So 83 people of the 87 sales, and some of those items were multiple sales per piece, if that makes sense, or per transaction. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you guys want to grab you a drink, grab you a snack, listen to this video while you're listing or cleaning, totally understand. Don't want to bore anybody. But I do believe it's important to have these What Sold videos just simply so people can see what's actually selling right now, right? And definitely check out the video after this because it will be the haul video from the Goodwill outlet that I went to the other day, where I had a lot of great things that I bought. So definitely check out that video, and we'll go ahead and get started. So the very first thing that sold during this time period, and this is not necessarily in order, but the very first thing that was pulled up on my sales is this Alex Evenings sparkle jacket. This was just the jacket, not the dress. This was from a Macy's liquidation box. This sold for $25.85. Next was an Alfred Dunner sweater, which, yes guys, Alfred Dunner sales, believe it or not. This was a Ben's Fine, sold for $17.79. Next was a Loft and Taylor cardigan, brand new with tags, from the Ben's, and it sold for $13. Now, I don't know if I'm going to say this name right, but Desigual, I think that's right, bag. Any bags or tops from this brand immediately sell pretty good for me. This sold for $45.27, and this came from the Ben's. Next was a pair of isotoner gloves, sold for $17.10. This came from a Target liquidation. Then I had Adrienne Vittadini silk scarf from the Ben's for $14.09. Then we had an Ann Taylor Loft, brand new with tag jeans, sold for $16, and this too came from the Ben's. Old Navy chambray dress, sold for $12, came from the bins. Then we had this cabbie printed cami top. This was brand new with tags as well, came from the bins. And as you'll kind of see, there's some things that I got from liquidation, some things that I sourced from wholesale, some things I sourced from ThredUp mystery boxes and ThredUp Coach boxes and purse boxes. And then majority of my sales come from the bins, which in my opinion is your best bang for your profit because the cost of goods is super low. So next is a vintage Liz Wear crop leather jacket, came from the bins. And for some reason I didn't write how much it sold for, but I'll put it up here in the corner. Next was a vintage Oscar de la Renta wool blanket coat, cardigan type thing. Had a lot of flaws, had a lot of moth holes and things like that. And then I also put that sale. It also sold came from the bins. And then we had a vintage sequin sweater. This was from the bins for $12. Then we had this brand called Tango. This was a button-up Tango or button-up silk shirt, had kind of like a novelty print. This sold for $13.81. And then we had Hannah Anderson, which is a little girl's dress, which was sourced at the bins, sold for $10. Then we had this Goodfellow watch, new with tags. This came from a Target liquidation, and this sold for $15.10. Then we had an Izod men's chino pants. This was brand new with tags, came from a Macy's liquidation, sold for $16.57. Then we had a women's 1/5 carat total weight diamond wedding band, sold for $68.08. Then we had an inspirational bangle, I have like literally 25 of these, bangle bracelet. This came from, I want to say Amazon liquidation. This sold for $17.19. Then we had Champion belt bag, really was unisex, but maybe a little geared more towards men. Really big belt bag at that. Came from a ThredUp box, sold for $23.65. Then we had a LuLaRoe 2X tunic top, came from the bin, sold for $12.74. And believe it or not, guys, LuLaRoe still sells. The dresses and the kimonos do the best for me, especially if you get a plus size brand new with tags. The tops, not usually so much, so that was good that this sold. Next thing that sold was a Dress Barn, kind of a lacy blouse. I simply picked it up at the bins because it's brand new with tags. Sold for $15. Then we had this embroidered wallet, which was brand new. This came from a wholesale box from China, directly from China. Which I got a bunch of sterling silver little heart necklaces and then a bunch of wallets. This sold for $16.57. Then I got a Columbia zip jacket, brand new with tags. This was from the bins for $22. Then I had a Sam Edelman leather flats, which they had a little bit of wear, but after I did the leather cleaner and, the conditioner and things like that, it kind of, looked a lot better. So that ended up selling for $21.57. Now we get to turn over the page and keep going. So next we had a pair of Banana Republic pantyhose, sold for $8.42. I pick up pantyhose because you can find a lot of brand new pantyhose and tights, and vintage pantyhose especially. You're not going to get a lot. However, you're paying almost nothing for them at the bins, and there's still a profit. So that's why I still pick those up. I mean, they need to be brand new, but I still pick them up. So next was this Moschino Cheap Chick blazer. This is actually the second time this is sold. So I did sell it in the last What Sold video. It was returned because it's faded and all this other stuff. And yeah, I kind of already described that in the description. However, it immediately sold within 1 minute of me relisting it for $115.99. And this too was sourced at the bins. Next was the brand called, I hope I'm saying this right, Hirio, I don't know, I can't say it, guys. You know what I'm trying to say. Kala leather and canvas bag. This was sourced from a ThredUp 15 handbag box. This sold for $60.46. Then we had this vintage kind of frilly Dollywood. I don't know if you guys have been to like Gatlinburg before, but they sell these type of little like ruffly dresses. This one didn't even have a brand, and this sold for $23.99. Next was this vintage fairy tales little girl's dress. Was absolutely adorable. It was kind of like a Winnie the Pooh themed, handmade, which keyword handmade, guys. This sold for $22.24, and this sold within 20 minutes of listing. Next was a Jeannie and Jack skirt, which I'm picking up more kids stuff. Sold for $15.13, and I'm actually going to be putting out a video here. I don't know if it'll be this week, maybe next week, of all of the kid brands that are kind of worth picking up at the bins or the garage sales and things like that. In the past, I wouldn't really pick up kids' clothes because I felt the profit margin was so low. Sometimes with kid clothes, they're very worn, they're stained, they're discolored, they got holes, you name it, and it's understandable, right? It's for kids. Well, in this kind of economy, I'm starting to understand that certain things are a little bit more sought after, I guess you want to call it. And even though kids' clothes, for the most part, aren't going to go for as much, there are brands that do give you a pretty decent profit. And my take in perception on kids' clothes is simply this, that many of us women, or men, dads too, but parents in general, will buy for their children quicker than they'll buy for themselves. And I think right now, with times being kind of hard for a lot of people, they're okay with sourcing things pre-owned for kids online, and there's a market that's a little bit more than maybe before. So a lot of my kids stuff is selling. So I'm picking up more kids stuff, and it's working out. So that's kind of a tip. Maybe you might want to consider picking up some of the nicer kid things for your closet or store. So the next thing that sold was a Juicy Couture swimsuit, sold for $22.24, and this was sourced at the bins. And all the last things, the last 3 or 4 things I said, they were all from the bins as well. Then we had a LuLaRoe lace black duster, sold for $15 from the bins. Then we had a vintage Michael Howard hat, I believe it was 100% wool, sold for $21 from the bins. Then we had a Team Pride Diamond Art kit craft type of thing, sold for $17.84. And I actually picked up 15 of these from the bins, believe it or not. There was a time when like Amazon returns would like literally bring a semi truck and unload a bunch of brand new with tag things. So I got a bunch of games and puzzles, and this was one of those things I took a chance on, and they're selling. So the next thing that sold was a Calvin Klein shimmer dress, brand new with tags. I believe it was 18 wide. This was sourced from a Macy's liquidation. And this sold for $42.53. Then I had a St. John cardigan, which was returned. I didn't include that price in here as far as the grand total in sales, but it sold for $50. And St. John is definitely a bolo, so unfortunately it was returned. It'll sell again. So next thing that sold was an Ann Taylor loft, kind of like a crop mustard yellow eyelet trim pants, sold for $19.13. And I mentioned this in one of my recent hauls. Anything that I have that's mustard yellow, it sells. I don't know. It's just a color that people are into, I guess, right now. Next thing that sold was a Susan Graver skirt. Kind of took a chance on this brand, but it had 2 things going for it. It was 100% linen, and it had kind of like a beaded embellishment on it, which was kind of neat. So this sold for $15. The next thing was a Jenny Kane wool and cashmere cardigan sweater. was also sourced at the bin, sold for $60. Then we had this vintage 70s JC Penney dress. I believe it's like a larger, like large, extra large, I believe it was, which I think helps because you know a lot of vintage stuff is tiny. Sold for $61.40. Then I found this Juicy Couture bracelet in one of the Goodwill blue box mystery jewelry boxes that I just had a couple weeks ago, and it sold for $14.23. Definitely check out those videos because it's kind of fun to see the like vintage and like cool pieces that are in those mystery boxes. Next thing that sold was an IKEA duvet bed set, brand new with tags, sourced at the bins, sold for $30. Then we had a vintage needlepoint pillow. It was actually a very small pillow, but very pretty. Needlepoint is definitely something people will look for when it comes to like the shabby chic and the country cottage type of look. This pillow sold within the same week actually for $15. Then we had a Leith Nordstrom skirt, kind of had a metallic colorful print, sold for $12.54. Then we had a Matilda Jane skirt that sold for $12, also sourced at the bins. Then we had a Talbot's 100% silk geometric skirt, also from the bins for $11.59. Then we had a Kalia, which is Carrie Underwood, not underwear, leggings, sold for $15, which she does really good for me, picking up athletic, pieces from her line. Next thing was a vintage purple nightgown, kind of lacy in the front, sold for $20. Then we had a vintage Show Me silk dress, 100% silk at that, and I believe it was like a larger size, sold for $19.32 from the bins. All right, we're down to the last sheet, guys. Thanks for hanging in there. And if you enjoy these type of videos, what sold videos, hauls, mystery unboxings, definitely please consider subscribing to my channel, hitting the bell notification, and then maybe, give me a comment down below and tell me what you think was the best find of the what sold video. So next is a Leg Avenue fishnet stockings. Didn't sell for much, but it was very lightweight from the bins. Sold for $6.50. Then we had a Loft chambray polka dotted shirt. I wish it would have went for a little bit more, but either way, it came from the bins, sold for $10. Then we had this Nordstrom Carlson bomber zip jacket, kind of had like a dotted print, from the bins, sold for $10.78. Then we had a Vince Camuto silk scarf from the bins for $16. Then we had a Guess orange bodysuit, new with tags, from Macy's, and this too sold for $16. Then we had a Juicy Couture scarf, also from the bins, sold for $9. Then we had a yellow Coach wristlet, kind of like a monogram print, sold for $12.14. Then we had a brand called Oat, which was like a striped, what do they call that? Railroad or something like that. Striped denim dress, new with tags, sourced from Macy's liquidation, sold for $22. Then we had Ann Taylor crop pants. These were printed, sold for $15. Then we had a Duluth Aztec, kind of like a button jacket. It had weight, guys, but it was really nice. And as many of us know, Duluth is not cheap, kind of like an outdoor brand, but definitely pick up a lot of the men's nicer pieces. Another brand is Orvis. I mean, these brands do pretty good on the resale market. This sold for $37.77. Then I got this sale of a Lacoste zip jacket. Actually, I have two of these, and this one sold for $25, sourced from the bins through the global shipping program. Then we had this Leslie Faye, which is a vintage brand mohair coat. It was absolutely beautiful. This sold for $80, and this too was sourced at the bins. Then we had a vintage cachet gown, which I think I mentioned in the last What Sold video, because there was a dress that sold in that video as well that was vintage cachet. Cachet, definitely pick that brand up, guys. It resells pretty good, especially the gowns and the dresses. But this was sourced at the bins and sold for $48.94. Next is a Victoria's Secret sequin tee, which I try not to pick up too much of this type of Victoria's Secret stuff, but the sequin tees still kind of sell for me. Not a whole lot, but they still sell. This one sold for $15.41, and this too was sourced at the bins. Next was the Tommy Hilfiger, kind of like a jersey knit paisley printed dress, sourced at the bins, sold for $17.79. And then I took a chance on this and it sold, and it was pea in a pod, kind of like a maternity dress, but it had a really nice modern style. A lot of maternity clothes, I don't know, I just don't do good with maternity. I don't do good with maternity clothes. I don't really do good with shoes unless there's specific ones, and I really don't do good with Junior's clothes. But this dress, because of the color and the style, I felt like it would be worth picking up at the bins, and it was. So it sold for $20.69. Next was a vintage Even Davies pig suede skirt. This sold for $25, and I actually have two of these. I have a size 10 and a size 12, and it's something about the like pencil skirts that have a slit and have the pig skin, or pig suede. I don't know why I keep calling it pig skin. They seem to do pretty good. Like I don't know what it is. So that sold for $25, and that too was sourced at the bins. And then we had this cabbie, kind of a island mesh printed skirt, sourced at the bins for $18. Then we had a vintage Wilson's leather, kind of like a slouch bag, sold for $19.12. This too was from the bins. Then we had an Ann Taylor jersey knit skirt, very basic. I almost didn't know why I picked it up when I went to the bins, but hey, you know, who doesn't need a basic skirt? Sold for $12. Then we had a pair of Apartment 9 trouser socks. Actually, it wasn't a pair. I think it was like 3 or 4 in the set. Sold for $10.96 from the bins. Then we had a Victoria's Secret lace bra. It was actually very pretty. It didn't sell for much, but guys, the cost of goods is so low on bras and swimsuit. Well, some swimsuits and socks. Bras, in my opinion, are one of the best return on investments. So even though it sold for $9, it probably cost me a whopping 25 cents at the bin. So sometimes you got to look at it in that way. Next was a Flora Necrose, hope I'm saying that right, belted satin robe. I was really hoping it would go for a little bit more, but you know, it's okay. It sold for $15. Then I had a New Day floral maxi dress, brand new with tags, from a Target liquidation box, sold for $14. Then I had a brand called Motel, and it's like a star glitter type of top, and I only got it because it reminded me of like New Year's Eve, maybe club a little bit, and it sold for $9. Then I had a set of, not a set, but I had a quantity of 3 Paramore purple lace bras. This was part of a Target liquidation, sold for $48.84. And then the final thing of this particular 2-week period was a brand called NYX, and they were contour pencils, and this too was sourced from a Target liquidation box, and there was a total of 4 that she bought of $36.84. So drum roll, the total amount, and this is before eBay took all their fees, was $2,931.59. But in full transparency, because you want to know what I actually pocketed, right? After they took all their fees and Well, after they took all their fees, because let's just say it like it is, eBay takes their fees. I made $1,803.32 in that 2-week period. So, not too bad. Now, I did not have sales like flowing like milk and honey every day. There were days where I may have only made 2 sales. Then there were days where I had a handful of sales. And then it seemed like the floodgates opened up and sales were coming, and then another 2 days, no sales. That roller coaster is stressful. And I'm sure everybody can agree with me that aside from the sales being a constant roller coaster, sometimes our emotions are too when it comes to selling lately, because it's like some weeks you wonder if something bad is really about to happen and we're not going to have any sales. And then other weeks you feel like, okay, sales are coming around, like everything's going to be okay. And then it tricks you again, right? So this all happened with me doing a high volume based business model. Like, you guys, that was not my model starting off on eBay. It was not my model. My model was more of like a boutique type of feel where you pay up a little bit, but you're getting something really nice, still at a great quality. A lot of these brands that were like Alfred Dunner, yeah, I would have never picked that up in a million years before all of this, but maybe in some ways it's humbling some of us sellers, because we're realizing that sometimes people are okay with these mall brands. Sometimes people are okay with Walmart brands, believe it or not. And trust me, I go to Walmart. I pick up clothes from Walmart sometime. Yeah, it's not a thing. But some people would never think that you selling a Walmart brand new with tag item would sell, and it is. So it's that kind of mindset that there are many different buyers right now. There are a lot of people trying to just do what they got to do, right, to survive. And when it comes to clothing and shoes and kids' clothes and accessories, people want a great deal. So you have to kind of expect that you're going to take a lot less for some of the things that you used to get a lot more for. So that's one of the reasons why I source at the bins. And like I said before, definitely check out that video, because yes, you often think, well, with sales low, why are you still sourcing? Well, because I'm pumping out so many listings a day and I'm selling in volume and making less, that I run out of inventory, or my inventory gets pretty low. So that's why I'm still sourcing in the midst of these slow sales, but it's working out for me. So maybe, what I'm doing may work out for you. Is $1,803 a bad number for 2 weeks? No, it's not. I mean, for some people it's chump change. For other people it's great. For me, it's okay. It's okay, because I used to make that in a week, and so I have to kind of humble myself as well and realize, hey, if I'm making some sales, even if it's lower, at least I'm getting cash flow moving. And sometimes that's important in running your business and keeping it alive, is keeping that money flow going. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are also a Poshmark seller, stick around for the next video. I could have put those sales into this one, but I figured it'd be just a little too long. So definitely check out that video so you can see what sold on Poshmark as well. So thank you guys for watching. As said before, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. We have a lot of fun content on this channel. Love to have you as a subscriber. And then also hit the bell notification, so that way when I upload a new video, you'll be aware of the content that just posted. So thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.